We are live. Are we? Really, are we? We better be. I don't know what to tell you. All right, we're live, man. We're live here on location at the other b.hive studios. There are so many of them all over town that you never know. You just never know where I'm going to be. Um, but welcome tonight. We are going to continue. We're going to continue reading from my book, Pavor Nocturnus. Good evening, Beth, and hello there, Kevin. Here I are. Here you are, yes. I don't know where I was, but I was somewhere. Anyhow, yes, so we are, basically we, because you guys always come with me. We're here at the other studios. Sometimes we do broadcasting from Bobby and Beth Paulson's store, their antique store. Usually we do tunes on Tuesday there, and here we do um, horror Humpday. Yeah, so here we are. Hey, how you doing, Shannon? Shannon, I was going to invite you. I don't know if you got an invite from me or not, but yeah, I was looking for you and I couldn't find you. So I've been doing invites a little different by just posting a little preview, that little AI preview thing that I make every week for the live read, and hope that you guys see it and head on out this way when you do. So, hey, Bobby, how's it going? Good to see you, buddy. I hope you and Beth and your whole family had fun at the zoo today. Jessica, very good for you to show up. So I know you like story time. So Kevin and I know you just don't like to sleep. So there you go. Drinking a little of that H2O, some quality H2O tonight for tonight's read. Now, if you're new here to which everybody I see here now is not new here, but if you tune in later or whatever, what I do on Horror Hump Days is I read a chapter from one of my books, or I read a short story that I've published. Um, and we usually do that for about an hour or a little more, depending on how long the chapters are. Tonight's chapter took me about 25 minutes to read through, so they're about a half hour. I get them once a week, and then not the next. But I know where to find you. Yes, you do. I do not change the schedule very often. I have because of EMT commitments. For those of you that don't know, I did not pass my final EMT exam. So what does that mean? That means I owe the city 2 years of my service. So I will probably, I haven't verified this, but I will probably be a first responder on the ambulance. I'll still be part of the ambulance crew. I just will not have an EMT status, which is okay too. A little less responsibility on me, and we can blame everybody else. We can blame the EMT, right? So, anyhow, so yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened with the EMT test, and so I don't have any more studying to do because I don't have any more tests to take. Because my final attempt was this last Monday. So yeah, isn't tonight about Awesome Lions Clubs? Yes, tonight is about Awesome Lions Club and the love that they pour upon the world. That's what tonight's story is about. So Bobby might have been an influence on this one. Anyhow, this book that I've been reading you guys for the last just over a month um, is a book that came about by prompts that I got from readers like you, and I had people send me their nightmares because most of my stories are nightmares that I have had. And this book is put together with nightmares that you guys have had. Um, the first story, I believe, was my nightmare, which was my mom being possessed by the devil and trying to kill me and my dad. Maybe that wasn't far from the truth. I don't know. But anyhow, I shouldn't say that because mom's gone. So anyhow, but that was that one. The other one was about Armageddon and syphilis, and that came from a friend of mine I worked with who had a dream that she was chained up and had to choose from three boxes that were blue, and the one that she grabbed gave her some type of mutated syphilis. That's got to be a hell of a dream, but I turned that into an Antichrist thing. The one after that was called Saturday Morning Fever, which came to us from our very own Stephanie. Um, and that was about a fever dream she had when she was a kid. And it was about these starfish that came to life and tried to kill her. Um, the next one was um, this business of witches, which came from my friend Alex, and that one was about a record producer who became rich and famous and forgot that he had signed a contract with a witch and owed her his firstborn. Um, the next one was the Church of Saint Skinwalker, which came from a classmate of mine, Linda, and that was about a girl who was becoming a werewolf and belonged to a church of the Loup Garou, which is a kind of a French term for werewolf. Um, and then last week's story was called The New Flesh, which came from a very good friend of mine's son, Felix. And he actually gave me three stories. I combined them into one story, and that was kind of an apocalyptic, dystopian story about a virus that broke out, and the government had a new way of inoculating you by putting a new synthetic flesh on that grafted onto your own flesh. And yeah, so that's what that one was about. Hey Kelly, good to see you. I'm glad to see you on here. So tonight's story was sent to me by a friend of mine, Dean, and his nightmare was about um, he and his girlfriend were in the desert hiking, and they went to this oasis. And when they got to the oasis, his girlfriend was attacked and killed by a lion. And when he woke up, he thought maybe he could go back into his dream and rescue her and change things. But every time he tried to redream it, it always ended up the same. She always ended up dead. So that's what that nightmare was about, and I turned it into tonight's story, Lover Lions. So, and it is distantly related to the Lions Club of America, I guess. Something like that. Anyhow, I went and seen, actually Bobby went and seen it too last weekend. I did not see it with him. I saw it with another friend of mine, but I saw the movie, the zombie flick, 28 weeks later, or 28 years later, and I have to say I've been asked a lot about what I thought about the movie. I would not go see it in the theater if I were you. If you haven't seen it yet, I would wait for it to stream, because it was it was very different than the other ones, and I get that you don't want to do the same formula over and over again, but this one really, I don't know. I will say that the beginning and the middle part of it, well done. They pulled on some heartstrings, a lot of good jump scares. Um, Interesting take on a zombie apocalypse, but the end was way out there, and it was too out there for me to be happy about it. And when the next one comes out, because they're coming out with another one called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, I don't know when that's coming out, but I will probably wait for that to stream, because I just was the ending blew the movie for me. I will say that much. Um, yeah, that was, think Clockwork Orange for the ending. It was similar to that. Think if the Monty Python troupe did did Clockwork Orange. Yeah, that's, I guess that's the best way to explain the ending without giving it away. But yeah, I would definitely wait for it to come out on streaming before you decide to pay for that at the movie theater. Popcorn's always worth it, but yeah, no. Now and go see it. So anyhow, that's my review of that movie. Just to let you guys know, just want to warn some of you, if you guys decide you want to go see it, I wouldn't recommend it. I would wait till it starts streaming online. Sorry, Danny Boyle, the maker of the movie. I'm sorry if you're watching this for some odd fucking reason. And then I gave you a kind of a bad review, but I just, yeah, I was very disappointed. I will say that much. Good formula, just that ending just blew everything out of the water. So, yeah. All right, so let's get into the book, shall we? It's about quarter after 8. Sipping on me some of that quality H2O. Cleared the throat. Did run through. I did run through this. That's actually pretty cool how it kind of fades into the darkness. But I did run through the book, and I think I got the voices down as far as how all the characters sound. But yeah. All right. So if you guys are all snuggled in, Bobby all cuddled up next to Beth. Kevin, you better wake up Gypsy. Tell her to stay alert for you. Shannon, I hope you're good. Chrissy, I'm glad you made it. Thanks, cuz. Good to see ya. It's always awesome to see relatives from some of the whānau from New Zealand come out and watch. So very cool, very cool. Jessica, snuggle up with your dogs, and let's put this ball in motion, shall we? For sure. Okay. I see what I do now is I pull up the live stream on my phone so I can kind of monitor it from here, and then I see what you guys see, and I see when the video signal goes out, so I know when to stop and go forward. Anyhow, all right, yeah, enough of that technical geek stuff, right? Love or lions? A recurring dream where a girlfriend and I were walking around this oasis, and a lion attacked her, and I kept going through my head if I could have done anything different. Dean A. Dean! He awoke again, covered in cold sweat, her voice echoing in his head. He was out of breath when he sat straight up in bed. He looked to his left, and Stacy was still not there. There was a lump of guilt that had been eating away at him since the day of their trip. A myriad of colors exploded in his head, bright electric colors that hurt the eyes to see their true depth. A sharp pain stabbed into the center of his forehead, and then it would leave as fast as it showed up. He shook a Marlboro Light from its package and popped it into his lips. He snapped his Zippo, and the cherry glowed and popped as he took a deep drag. He exhaled and stood up from his bed and walked into the kitchen of their Minneapolis apartment to make a pot of coffee. Enjoying that first bitter sip, he looked out the window, watching the ocean of people move around outside like ants preparing for a coming storm. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe she's out there. Maybe she's out there. Maybe she's in class right now, just wowing the professors at Hamlin University. She was uber intelligent and was looking at going to MIT after the semester. A move they had planned to make together. Scratch that. It was something she had planned. She was beautiful, caring, loyal, and damn near perfect in every way possible. She loved him deeply, but not how a woman loves a man, but how a fan loves a rock star. He wasn't in the same boat. He liked her a lot, but he wasn't in love with her. He didn't have the heart to tell her either, but here they were, several years later, when a relationship turns into the both of them being furniture to one another, and because it's comfortable, they haven't done anything to rectify this great Sargasso Sea that was building between them. That was until he brought mushrooms to the table. "I don't know, Dean," she said, looking at the purple fungus before her. "It doesn't look safe at all. Where did you get it?" "It's safe." Dean was getting annoyed. "I got it from Subby. He fucking majors in chemistry. I'm sure he's not going to give us something that's going to damage us." "Sebastian? Has he tried it?" "Yes, he's tried it. He said to do it with someone you trust. He also said something about setting your intentions before your trip." "What the hell does that mean?" Dean let out a long, sarcastic sigh. It works on your thought process as you begin your trip. If you're thinking of something negative, it's going to be a negative trip. If you think of something positive, it'll be a great trip. I still don't know. Come on, it's just you and me. We'll jam the door shut, make sure we don't wander off, okay? Okay, I guess. And that was a few days ago. She's still not here. He thought about calling his friend Sebastian and asking him for help, but he didn't know how to put it into words what had happened. So he just keeps going back, hoping to reset the events and bring her back home. There were 3 mushrooms left. "Fuck," he said to himself. "Okay, Stacy, I'm gonna try this again. And this time, I'm not gonna run. This time I'm gonna fucking save you." There was an 11 by 18 oil painting of an oasis in the middle of the desert. On it were printed the words, "Maybe hallucinations are just another reality we don't see most of the time." It was a quote by American author Lin Ewing. They used this painting as a focal point when they took their mushrooms. The mushroom was plump, with a powdery purple tint to them. He wasn't sure if the color was flaking off like spores, or if it was because he had been seeing trails and flares ever since their first mushroom they'd ingested. He bit down onto the spongy dome, and those intense colors began to flood his vision again. He opened his eyes, and rainbows were pouring from every light source around him. A dull ache hit the center of his forehead, and he felt the rush of hot air, and then he was lying on yellow sand. He knew that sand wasn't really yellow. It was more beige, but the artist that had painted this painting that he was lying in had brushed it in canary yellow. "Stand up, silly," Stacy grinned at him and offered her hand. "Stacy?" he said with some sadness in the back of his throat. "Come on. You were so right about this stuff. It's amazing." There were stone steps that led to the oasis. A thick grove of palm trees surrounded an electric blue pond. Stacy, like the time before, had walked ahead. "Oh, God," he thought. "She's already started up that trail." "Honey!" he shouted. "Wait up!" She spun around and smiled at him. "Come on, slowpoke. Please, don't go up there." She stopped in her tracks. She looked back at him again, this time looking annoyed. "Dean, this was your idea. Now come on, let's do some exploring." He tried to climb the incline to where she was, and the sand kept sucking his feet in. "God damn it!" he said out loud. "God damn sand!" "What were your intentions going in?" his mind had asked him. I want to have some of that magic back from when we started out." "Was there really magic? Let's be honest with each other, Dean. You were just amused to have someone act so crazy around you." "Ouch, that's a little harsh, but it's the truth." "Fair enough, fair enough. Now, can we manage our way out of this fucking sand so I can stop her before—" "What were your intentions before you're going in?" his mind repeated. To enjoy something together again. To stop. Just stop it. I'm the last person you should be lying to, Dean." "I'm not lying. I'm not. Let's just get her before—" "What were your intentions before going in?" Dean's brain was beginning to annoy him. "Stacy!" Dean had made it to the first stone paver and made a conscientious effort to avoid stepping in any sand. She was 100 yards away from him, just on the first bend of the path. He knew what was coming. He picked up his pace. "This is what you wanted," his brain said. "No, it wasn't, you son of a bitch! This isn't what I—" "Stacy!" Like twice before, and now again, he knew seconds before it happened. She had turned around and stood there, with her hands on her hips. She looked impatiently at him. "Hurry up, Dean! It's beautiful over—" The lion broke cover from a patch of tall ferns and leaped on top of her. They both crashed to the ground. Stacy sat up dazed, looking completely confused. "Dean?" she said incredulously. The lion stood up on all fours and leaped again, and he leapt on her with its fangs bearing down on her head and claws stretching out from its paws. Dean? It bit down on her, swinging her from one side to the other, like a dog that has a hold of a knotted rope. Stacy's scream was abruptly cut off when she landed harshly onto the sand, and the wind was knocked from her lungs. "Stacy!" Dean screamed for her, feeling helpless. With each toss of her body was more and more like a rag doll. The lion pinned her on the ground with its giant paw, and then twisted its head just slightly, enough to snap Stacy's neck. "Dean!" was all she was able to shout, and then she was no more. Dean kneeled on the stone paver and lowered his head, and wept. He didn't notice the lion had finished its meal with Stacy, and was looking at him. Crouched low, it began to slowly make its way towards him. "Your intention was to put an end to this sham of a relationship you had with Stacy." His mind was still dogging him. "Jesus fuck, can you let up?" Dean said under his breath. "This time around, your guilt is going to get the better of you. Of us." "What are you The lion pounced, ran headlong into Dean's body, carrying him back down the incline, and they both rolled across the sand. "Oh, shit!" Dean said, eyes wide. The lion roared, and Dean could feel it deep into his bones. It swatted one of its giant paws in his direction, and as he rolled out of its way, the lion growled with annoyance. "If you don't let go of this guilt," his mind had said, "that thing out there is gonna kill us." "Again," Dean spat, "this is all my fault." "Oh, don't be a martyr. Just get us the fuck out of here." "I don't know what to..." The line sliced him from shoulder to shoulder. He fell, but was able to roll out of another barrage of attacks. "Stick your finger down your throat." "What?" "Stick your goddamn finger down your throat. Maybe that will get us out of here." "That's ridiculous. Puking is going to..." "Stick your finger down your throat, for fuck's sakes! We're about to become... duck!" The lion had dived at him again, hoping to tackle Dean again and perhaps pin him under its weight. He was able to duck, and the lion flew over him. He ran up the hill, this time with no issues, and made it to the bank of the watering hole. "Now what the fuck are you doing?" his brain said. "You're not going to jump in there, are you? What if there's crocodiles in there, or worse yet, piranhas?" "There isn't. There can't be. This water represents peace and tranquility. It has to." "I don't know, Dean. I just don't..." "Oh, shit!" Dean splashed into the watering hole, crystal clear and cool. And as he rose to the surface of the water, he opened his eyes. And he was in their studio apartment again. He was soaked, and when he looked at the bed sheets, he saw that there were blood stains. He walked into the bathroom and looked at his back in the mirror. "Hey, Chuck, welcome, buddy." There were deep lacerations across his back from shoulder blade to shoulder blade. That explosion of intense color in his head happened again, and he fell onto the floor. It felt like there was an ice pick in the center of his forehead. "Oh, Jesus, fuck," he cried out. Then he sat there in utter silence. There was no roar, no growls, and best of all, his mind had shut the fuck up. The colors disappeared, and he popped another Marlboro into his mouth and smoked it like the last cigarette on earth. He then picked up his phone and dialed his friend Sebastian. "What up, Deanster?" his friend answered, stoned as usual. Dean believed that the only reason he attended college was to be able to create mind-altering drugs. "Fuck, subby." Dean tried to find the words. "I'm in trouble." "The cops bust you, man? I told you, forget you know me if the cops..." "It's not the cops. Fuck, just listen to me, okay?" Did Stacy OD? Bro, Narcan ain't gonna help you there. She didn't OD. It's worse. A lot fucking worse. She's fucking gone. There was silence on the other end for what felt like an hour. "Hello?" Dean said. "Like," Sebastian finally said, "like she's out of her head gone, or..." "I mean, she's gone. Literally gone. We took our trip. She got attacked by some version of a lion, and when I came back, she was gone." "What? What are you saying?" "She's fucking gone, subby. I came back and she never did. Got it?" What? If you say what one more fucking time, I swear I'm gonna..." "What were your intentions going in, man? Seriously." "What's with that fucking question?" "My intentions were... well, I wanted us to... Bro, Dean, I told you only do that shit with someone you trust, and to go in with pure intentions. If your intentions were fucked up, man, your trip was gonna be fucked up." "That still doesn't explain where the fuck she is. Where the fuck is she?" "Wherever your mind took her, dude. I mixed those shrooms with some powder that was found in a case the archaeology department exhumed from Mexico. I don't know what that powder was. Me and Tammy from archaeology tested it on ourselves and realized it had an intense hallucinogenic side effect. So I used it to cultivate with the psilocybin mushrooms I was growing. We took the shrooms after and had some vivid trips, but we had pure intentions. I mean, there was a few negative vibes going in, but nothing so intense like you had." "Well, how do I get her back?" I don't know if you can, bro. I really don't." What if I go in with a weapon, kill that fucking lion, and save her?" "I don't know, man. The intention is still there. Who knows what would happen if you brought in a weapon?" "I gotta do something." "How many you got left?" "2." "Fuck, bro. Maybe you should just lay off it. Just walk away and..." "Pretend this shit didn't happen? And what do I tell her family?" "Just say, I don't know, she ran away. The pigs will keep you under suspicion for a while, but if they can't find a body..." "Are you fucking insane?" "Hey, Steve. Are you fucking insane?" "No, but dude, what else can you do?" "How about this? Maybe if we both went in. Yeah, maybe then we could, I don't know, rescue her." "No way, dude. I ain't stepping into that negative vibe." "You motherfucker." "Sorry, bro. You got yourself into this. I told you." "Fuck you, subby." Dean threw his phone, and it shattered against the wall. His back itched with the wound and the blood that trickled down his spine. He looked over at the oil painting and the sandwich baggie that held the 2 purple mushrooms. He walked over and sat down in the chair and stared into the oil painting. Again, the extreme colors flooded his head, and he buckled to the floor when the imaginary ice pick jabbed into his forehead. It happened in waves, and he wondered if he was ever going to come out of this. "Stop!" he bellowed. "Stop this shit right fucking now!" But it didn't stop. For the first time, it lingered, and Dean thought his head was going to split in two, gushing out the pineal gland of his brain. Dreaming was a dangerous game when you got a mix of psilocybin and some Incan Mayan voodoo dust fairies floating around in your frontal lobe, granting wishes to every thought shooting through the synapses of your mind. There was an explosion of rainbows and stars. There were surreal constellations in there, but they began to flow in a rhythmic pattern, and soon those stars were just reflections on a giant cosmic river. He floated amongst the current, waves splashing against his body. Soon there were giant sea turtles made up of those same stars, and they were swimming alongside him. He could feel their shells rubbing up against him. He began to feel a strong sense of peace. "Am I dead?" he whispered to the turtle next to him. Or is this a dream?" "Who are you to decide what is real and what is alive?" the turtle said. "But you are but a man with a tiny man brain. You enslave yourselves with the measurement of time, the concept of reality and fantasy, putting everything into a box." His head began to throb again. He paddled his arms through the sea of stars and came upon another sea turtle. "Why are there no straight answers?" he whispered to the new turtle. "Why are questions always answered with more questions?" "Tiny man brain," it said with a bit of a chuckle. "You ask such irrelevant questions when you are swimming through a sea of answers. We are here because you are here. Everything in your tiny world is here because you are here." "Just stop this!" His head began throbbing again. "God damn it, stop this!" "If you want this to stop, then just quit swimming." "But I'll drown." "Will you?" "What do you mean, will I? Of course I will." "Then I guess you'll drown. Then I guess you're dreaming. Then I guess you're dead. Then I guess you're—" "Stop this shit right fucking now!" He was on the floor of his apartment, clad in his Perry Ellis underwear and a layer of clammy sweat. He got up on all fours and looked around the room. The mushrooms were still there. The sun had gone away. He wondered how much time had passed. "You enslave yourself with the measurement of time." Fucking turtles, he thought. He saw his phone smashed on the floor. There won't be any measurement of time now. It's just him in a one-room apartment and two mushrooms waiting to take him into an oil painting. He sat down in the chair and pulled a mushroom out of the baggie. He looked into the painting with its simple shapes and colors, knowing that somewhere in those layers of pigmented oil, a lion was in wait. "I go in," he said to the mushroom. "I go in with the intention of rescuing Stacy Henderson. I go in with pure mind and heart. I, Dean Loner, go in with pure mind and pure heart. I will succeed and bring her home. He put the entire mushroom cap into his mouth. He closed his eyes, and then, within a matter of seconds, the intense rainbow flooded his vision and pierced his mind. He felt himself gritting his teeth to the point of them crunching under the pressure. Wind going from searing hot to searing intense cold hit him in waves. And just before he thought his skin would peel off him, there was a loud popping sound, and then thick, hot air hit his lungs and burned his skin. He landed heavily on familiar canary yellow sand. "Dean," came a weak female voice. "Dean, are you there?" "Stacy!" he yelled. He stood up and looked to where the oasis stood. The palm trees and the ferns were still. The silence was almost deafening. Somewhere in the foliage, Stacy lay wounded. He was too late. She had already been attacked, and she lay bleeding somewhere. "Dean," she spoke up. "Stay where you are." "Stacy, where are you?" he said, climbing the stone steps. "This is a trap. There's a lion. He's lying in wait for you." "Honey, I'm gonna find you and bring you home." "I don't think you'll be able to get to me. He's somewhere nearby, and he's waiting to pounce on you." Of course, there were no branches or any type of weapons lying around. He thought perhaps he should have tried to bring a weapon. He wasn't expecting this. "Keep talking so I can find you." He was up near the tiny jungle of vegetation. The greens of the plants were such an intense green that he couldn't see into the jungle. "Please be careful, Dean," she uttered. As he got closer to her voice, he heard the rumbling from a great chest, a low growl coming from a giant cat. He stopped and picked up a large rock. "Oh, gonna brain the kitty cat, are ya?" His mind spoke up. "I was wondering when you were gonna show up," he spat. "Seriously, you're fucking insane if you think you can take on that thing. It's gotta weigh at least a ton." "You got any better ideas?" "You should have listened to Subby. You should have just walked away." "We don't play like that, and you know that." The cat's growls were getting louder. He could tell it was close, and he kept the stone ready. "Dean, be careful," Stacy uttered. "We can still cut and run, you know," his brain said. "If you aren't going to come up with a better plan, shut your hole." "Dean, it's moving. I can hear it." Dean closed in on Stacy's location and saw her lying in a pool of her own blood. She had a lot of lacerations on her and puncture wounds in her head. "Oh, fuck. Stacy!" As Dean bent over to check on Stacy, the lion leapt from its hiding place and just missed him. It landed solidly on the other side of him and roared. "Come on, you son of a bitch!" he screamed, wielding the stone like a bludgeon. The cat pounced again, claws extended and aiming for his face. He struck it with a stone, and it screeched and rolled onto the ground. It shook off its wound and painted the side of Dean's face with its blood. It arched its back and its lips pulled back, revealing an impossible number of fangs. He saw that he had knocked out a couple of them with his rock. "Stacy," he said without taking his eyes off the lion, "I'm going to lure this thing away from you. Can you get away to safety?" I think so," she said, uncertain. Please, be careful, Dean. He backed slowly towards the watering hole. The lion took a few unsuccessful swipes at him with its claws. As the lion's attention was drawn towards him, Stacy crawled slowly and painfully out of the bush and onto the stone steps leading downwards. What the fuck are you doing? His mind asked. What do you see in that pond over there? Dean, still staring down at the lion. Water, his brain answered. What else am I supposed to see? Look again, buddy boy. There's more than just water in there. I don't see any... Wait a minute. I see... Ho ho ho, you cunning motherfucker. There's crocodiles in that water. Large, ferocious crocodiles. With piranhas that haven't eaten in months. Waiting to chew on some lion meat. Yeah, but how are we gonna... The lion pounced. Dean jumped up as well. He struck the lion in the face and used the momentum to steer the lion's inertia into the pond. It snarled and then landed on just the edge of the bank. It quickly got on all fours and was ready for another assault. We fucked up, Dean, his mind said. Did we? Dean sneered. The lion's eyes got wide, and its face went from rage to fear, cutting it off in mid-roar. A crocodile had latched onto its back ankle and snapped the tiny bones with its prehistoric jaws. The lion let out a roar and dropped to the ground as the croc pulled it towards the water. Another snap, and it closed its maw on the lion's hindquarters. The lion screeched, and the reptile began to go into its death roll, flipping the lion end over end. It clawed frantically at the sand, trying to stop its demise. Jesus, Dean's mind said. I almost feel sorry for him. As the lion sank into the waters, the piranhas began to feed in a crimson, bubbling display of gore. The lion's roar got weaker, and then was no more. Dean ran over to Stacy, who looked worse than before. Hold on, he said, holding her to his chest. I'm so sorry for this. I'm so fucking sorry. He held her for what seemed to be an eternity. The sun went down and came back up again. Still, he held her tight against himself. Days and nights kept passing, and he kept hoping that they would be home. He opened his eyes, and they were lying on their bed. Dusk was heavy outside, and the smells of his apartment came flooding back. His head aching, he loosened his grip on Stacy. She was home. Honey, he whispered. Honey, we're back. I got you back, just like I promised. There was no answer. Then I guess you're dead, came the voice of the turtle. Dean laid her down softly on the bed. He kissed her cooling cheeks that were stained with blood that had stopped leaking from her head wounds. He pulled the covers up over her head and walked back to the table. There was one mushroom. There was a pool full of man-eating fish, and a large crocodile with orange fur caught in its teeth, somewhere in a painting sitting on his table. This is what I deserve, he said to himself. Just like that, his brain said. We went through all that just to end it? Yep. Well, you're an asshole, you know that? Well, the alternative is having the cops find us with a dead Stacy, and we go to prison for life. Okay then, let's eat that fucking thing. And that, my friends, is Love or Lions. I hope you enjoyed that one. That one was that was a trip to write, and my friend Dean didn't say anything about dropping mushrooms, but I know that he has. I have myself, and so some of the visual stuff in there is from my own experiences. But yeah, I turned it into a mushroom trip that he and his girlfriend went on, so that way I could physically involve her in that dream that my friend had in real life. And that's what we came up with. So I'm glad you liked it, Jessica. I never have liked cats. Kevin, come on now. Although cats are the first ones that would eat you if you died, not your dogs. That's from what I heard. So, anyhow, um, yeah. So that is tonight's read. Um, Lover Lions. It's funny because I actually visualized this thing while my friend was telling me his dream. It just played out in my head, and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta write this down now. Is he the lion? Oh, good question, Chuck. Very observant. Um, he very well could be the lion. Um, we will visit with Dean in this nightmare a little later on in the book. We'll visit with everybody that we've been reading about um, towards the end of the book, and we will get some closure on some of this stuff. Um, Next week's read is chainsaw hot tubs and chainsaws. That should be an interesting one. It's I think Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in northern Minnesota. We'll say that. That's what that will be about next week. Um, Here's a good thing about me not passing my final attempt at the EMT test, the final test. Um, I now have time to write and time and energy to start getting back into my writing. Um, so I'm happy about that. Um, it actually frees me up to do a lot more things creatively that I did not make time for because I studied instead of play guitar, or I studied instead of going and hanging out with friends, and I studied instead of writing. And that's affected me a lot because I love writing, and there are so many ideas that have run through my head for the next horror book, and I've just been able to write the ideas down in a little notebook and go, God, I hope I get to you soon. So again, I want an October release for my horror book. I don't know if I'm going to pull it off this year because everything else has been taking up my time. But we'll see. We'll see. There's always hope. There's also, I want to finish my book, um, The Ballad of Broken Bird, um, which I've been writing for about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. So, yeah. Sweet dreams. Hey, Kelly, I'm glad you loved it. I'm really glad you loved it. I'm really glad to see you here. It's been a long time. So, um, yeah. So I want to finish this Broken Bird book. It's a serious book. It's not a horror story. There are ghosts in it, um, and it's a little semi autobiographical, kind of pseudo biographical, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, I suppose every book kind of is biographical, but yeah. So the people that the main character meets in that book are real people that I've met, and have had some type of impact on my life. So anyhow, so yeah, I've got time now to write that. I'm not away from the ambulance crew now. I do owe the city 2 years because they paid for my schooling. But so I will probably continue as an EMR, or what they used to call a first responder. I think that's how it works. I don't know. That hasn't been made official yet. So so yeah, now I'm freed up to write again. Whoop whoop. So Chuck, you have a good night as well. It's always good to see you pop in, man. Um, yeah, so join me again next week. There will be a Tunes for Tuesday next week. Um, and as far as I know, I'm going to be going solo, uh, because Bobby has a Lions meeting, but he was at some Lions gathering last time and he showed up towards the end. But this is a meeting next week, so I don't know if he'll be able to make it. Last week, or the last time, was he was at a picnic, so that got done a little earlier. Um, I have a writers' picnic this Saturday in Shakopee that a classmate of mine, who is also a published writer, um, is hosting a writers' picnic. And we are going to talk about our writing and what influences us, and kind of to get the also to get a little bit of the fever of writing again. So I'm looking forward to that because I think I do kind of need a jump start in writing. So um, love listening to you read your stories. Keep it going. Hey, thanks, Shannon. I appreciate that, man. Um, so yeah, I also need a new get a new horror book done because after we're done with this book, man, I got nothing for you. I might have to read somebody else's horror books, and I don't know if I'm really allowed to do that as far as copyright stuff goes. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get some new stories out for you guys. Uh, yeah, to continue that. So I might need to do that before October. Oh man. So we're doing that. Also, I'm helping put together a book, children's book on diabetes for Bobby. Um, and Broken Bird and Wild Hair. We've got a couple gigs coming up in a few weeks. We are planning to do a roof concert on the top of his store. And we're also still planning on trying to get put together an artist market downtown here sometime this year. I don't know when we're going to fit that in. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff coming up. Anyhow, I'm going to let you guys go. Huh. Well, it's good to see you, William, and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. So yeah, so hopefully we get all the stuff done that we want to get done this year. Hopefully I get the books done I want to get done this year. Um, I have a busy home right now, so it's tough to find a spot and have a spot to write and just have a writing environment. So um, yeah, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, right? So very good to see everybody here. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Um, Again, Facebook is deleting all these live shows after 30 days. So if you have missed any of the nights, since we're reading a book now, and if you've missed any of the chapters, swing over to my YouTube channel and go on my playlist. This is under Horror Humpday's Pavor Nocturnus. And you can go back and watch some of the live readings I've done in the last 7 weeks and get caught up if you need to. You can also go back and listen to some of the other books that I've read of mine. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I've very much enjoyed having you guys here. and I appreciate all your support very much so. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much for that as well. So I hope you have a great weekend this coming weekend, and we will see y'all next week. Mwah! Peace and a bottle of that hair gel. So, all right, have a good night, you guys. Good night, Shannon.